again. Sean Farnham, happy to have you with us as we are set for the opening tip here from McKeon, where the students are packed in, where this place is loud and excited for a heck of a matchup tonight. Tim Williams for St. Mary's, Nate Bendel for Utah State. The two players at midcourt. And the tip is won by Bendel and the Aggies. The road team, Utah State, has the first possession.
Biggest key for Utah State. They want to play from inside out. They got to get the ball in that guy's hands. Ty Wesley.
Outstanding senior post player. Lou Williams, another senior, very experienced Utah State team. Wesley gets a touch. Double teamed and has to give it up. Tyler Newbold knocked Rob Jones to the ground, and that's an offensive foul.
What a great time really for St. Mary's that Rob Jones was so active defensively, first on the catch and then taking the charge. Rob Jones playing with some bruised ribs that he suffered the other night against San Diego, where it's defensive padding in that region. Coaches told me he's about 70%.
He is a huge key for St. Mary's. I'm sure Rob is thinking, of course, first play of the game, I'm going to get hit right in those ribs. Clint Steindl tried to take it to the basket, was rejected by Wesley, and Utah State out of bounds. St. Mary's keeps the ball. Rob Jones, critical player, junior. Jones has an excellent all-around game. Here's their senior leader, Mickey McConnell. He is almost certain to be the West Coast Conference Player of the Year, having a spectacular last year at St. Mary's. 6 seconds on the shot clock. McConnell creating, and he traveled before he got the pass away. So that's a turnover for McConnell and the Gales.
No turnover for Mickey McConnell. He is usually so good on the dribble, collecting himself with a great solid jump stop.
One of the best passers in college basketball, has one of the best assist to turnover ratios. Rarely makes those kinds of mistakes. Still scoreless 1 minute in from St. Mary's. Tip ball. It's loose. Rakeem Payne got it back and then sort of lost where he was. Bounced the ball out of bounds.
You know, when you have a game that's as important as the one that we have tonight for both of these teams, they realize golden opportunity to get a quality RPI win, and that's what Bracket Busters is truly all about for both these teams. You expect the nerves to be running a little hot.
Dellavedova too strong on that shot. Wesley grabs a defensive rebound. Payne throws a lob, and Pooh Williams could not quite catch it.
Just an ill-advised pass in that moment. No need for a half-court lob just early in the game. And Stu Morrill feels exactly the same way. He's taking Payne right out of the game.
Now Payne is going to have to think about that one. Payne plays almost every minute of every game. So this is a clear message early. See how long he sits next to the head coach. Here's Williams. They left it open momentarily. Then he lost the ball. Stolen by James Walker. Payne's replacement. Now Walker draws a foul and scores the basket.
Nice move by James Walker, fresh off the bench. You know, sometimes when you're sitting on the bench to start the game, you can kind of see how the tempo and flow is going. He gets out in transition. Does a nice job getting contact with Rob Jones' body. And watch how solid he is up top. Even though his legs are off balance, very steady with his shoulders. That's why he was able to finish.
Kid from this state of California. Walker completes the three-point play. Jones shoots a three, knocks it down.
Great sign for Rob Jones, only 2 points against San Diego, his worst game of the season.
Another lob, and this time Williams finishes from Wesley. Pretty spectacular play on the offensive end for the Aggies.
Coming right back at him, executing. One of the best executing offenses in all of the country.
McConnell goes behind the back. Now Williams one-on-one with Nate Bendel. Williams makes his move and scores.
Welcome sign for Williams. He has not seen a lot of time in his last 10 games. In fact, hasn't got over 10 minutes in any of them.
And perhaps, Sean, what you were talking about, those early nerves have settled down a bit. Wesley one-on-one against Rob Jones. Spins away from the defense.
Coach Randy Bennett said they're going to try to give him different looks. I think if you match up with him one-on-one, he's going to kill you all night long.
Yeah, you're asking for it. McConnell, what an acrobatic shot, but it wouldn't go down. Here comes Walker, the freshman, handling the ball and looking for the set play from the Utah State bench. Over the top to Wesley. Tough catch. He calls a timeout to save the turnover.
A smart play by Ty Wesley. You know, one of the things, you look at Utah State, and Randy Bennett was quick to point this out to you and I earlier today. There's not much that they don't do well. They do a little bit of everything well. They've got balanced scoring, so you can't necessarily key in on one guy. But if I'm the Gales, the one guy that concerns me most is Ty Wesley. He can pass the ball. We've already seen that with the alley-oop. One-on-one in the block, he's as good as anybody in the country at finding his way to the rim and scoring.
So Stu Morrill talking to his guys, and Stu, one of the great coaches in college basketball. They do so many different things well. I would imagine, Sean, that Utah State has a similar opinion about St. Mary's, because the Gales have been such a refined team, such a team that executes beautifully on both ends of the floor all season long.
Well, and that's what makes this matchup so intriguing between these two teams, the two top teams in their respective conferences. They've done so many things well this particular season.
So a great matchup. And very early on, they throw the ball into the backcourt. Boo Williams will be allowed to go chase it down. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. 15 to shoot for the Aggies. Out of the timeout. Bendel shows off some range, but it doesn't go down. Bendel's picked up his scoring of late. Dellavedova, Mitchell Young, Jones passed up the three. Gets it a little closer in and scores again.
Those are shots the other night that Rob Jones couldn't buy. That's what you've come to expect watching him this year for Randy Bennett. He does an excellent job attacking from the perimeter, getting that mid-range jump shot.
Wesley slipped toward the basket, finds his open teammate Walker. Way short on the three. McConnell looking for some room, finds Jones. He's feeling it early on. Not that time. Seven early. Wesley off the dribble. Makes his move right through the defense. No good.
They've done a nice job shoring up their defensive glass, not giving second chance opportunities. St. Mary's underrated with their ability to rebound the basketball at the defensive end.
And that's definitely worth pointing out, because Utah State will get a lot of buckets on second chance opportunities. End-to-end action here in the early going, and a 7-7 tie as Dellavedova draws a foul. So a foul against Matthew Dellavedova. Both teams will huddle up here. 15:07 to go first half, so still very early going. Utah State settled down after turning the ball over, and a rough start for Brockheath Payne and company. Looks like, Sean, as Payne takes a seat right there, we're going to see the junior point guard come back into the game.
Well, and I think Brockheath Payne adds a little something to the Utah State Aggies offense that they really haven't had. I mean, junior college transfer, it took him a while to understand the system in which Stu Morrill coaches. And I think a lot of times we expect to see junior college guys make a smoother transition than a freshman does, but that is not the case, and nor should you be expected. But as of late, Brockheath Payne has been one of the better players for Stu Morrill.
And you sort of figure, Sean, that in this matchup, he's so strong, such a good penetrator to get inside against that St. Mary's defense. That could be something that the Aggies could exploit.
Yeah, and he's coming off, though, his worst offensive game he's had all season long against Montana Western, an NAIA's team that they played this week. 6 assists, though, 1 turnover in the game. So he's done a good job finding his teammates and not turning it over. But you got to put some points on the board.
7-7 game early on here at McKeon Pavilion, the home of St. Mary's, where the Gales have not lost all year. They're 13-0. They've got a 19-game home win streak, and there's a reason why. It is very loud in this old building, and the Gales play very well at home. Randy Bennett's got this program in position to knock off Gonzaga in the West Coast Conference. The Zags, who have dominated the WCC for a decade plus. But this is St. Mary's year to see if they can't do something about that. Gonzaga will be in here the very next game the Gales play on Thursday night. So back-to-back huge games for this St. Mary's program, playing them both at home.
Well, the interesting test for the St. Mary's team right now is how do you rebound off of the road struggles you had down in San Diego. And Randy Benson, he likes the mental approach of his team. It doesn't concern him. He knows that they're going to come out and compete. They certainly have in the early stages of this game. But you cannot afford to have any trip-ups the rest of the way if you're St. Mary's.
Rob Jones will take a rest, and it could be that Randy Bennett tries to give him a little more time on the bench in this game with the injury he's trying to fight through. Out of the timeout, St. Mary's basketball. With a fresh shot clock, Clint Steindl. Set it up for McConnell on the wing. Kenton Walker in the game for Jones. A lefty makes a move with the left hand, but he came up way short. And Brian Green off the bench for Utah State came away with a rebound.
So he's got that shoulder strapped down, battling through an injury he's played with all season long, but got to extend up that arm still. That left arm's got to get up and over, get the ball up and over the rim.
Boo Williams bounces it to Wesley. One-on-one with Young. Here comes some help, but Wesley got the shot off anyway. Jardine was right there and missed the putback.
Jardine rushed that one a little bit too much.
Welcome everyone to Moraga inside the McKeon Pavilion. Utah State and St. Mary's. Brockheath Payne, the point guard for the Aggies of Utah State, draws a foul. We've had some end-to-end action here in the early going, coming off a great game. George Mason, Northern Iowa. Our starting lineups brought to you by Sears for this game. 2 top 25 teams, 2 experienced teams, and a lot of talent in that group.
No question. You look at these two programs and the success that they have dominated their respective conferences. It's appropriate you'd have 2 top 25 teams in this marquee matchup for bracket busters.
Brockheath Payne misses the first free throw. There's the head coach of the Aggies. An incredible overall record, great success at Utah State, Stu Morrill. Makes 1 of 2 to break the 7-7 tie. Dave Fleming, Sean Farnham, and we're glad you're with us for what we think could be the premier matchup of this Bracket Busters weekend. 2 teams having spectacular seasons.
Utah State started out in the man-to-man. You've seen them go to a zone. They're going to switch up their looks all night long.
Here's McConnell from long range. Rob Jones commits the foul, going for the offensive rebound. The head coach of the Gales, perhaps a little concerned because that's the second foul against one of his star players, Rob Jones.
Well, Rob Jones struggled the other night against San Diego, only 2 points. Suffered from bruised ribs. He's about 70%, the coaches told us earlier today. And he's gotten off to a pretty good start offensively. 5 early points for him, so they need to keep him involved offensively.
Here's an excellent shooter, Brian Green for 3. Top 3-point shooter in the WAC, and St. Mary's left him open. Jones staying on the court with those 2 fouls. No good. Jardine, excellent rebounder. Here come the Aggies. Payne trying to go all the way with the left hand with the foul.
Defensively, you have got to find Brockheath Payne in transition. That is where he is at his best. He has done an excellent job and has an excellent feel for change of pace with the dribble, able to explode, use Ty Wesley as a screen, and help side defense. You got to stop the ball. Rule number 1, stop the ball in transition. Nobody did.
You watch that replay, the only guy who stopped the ball was his teammate Ty Wesley. Ran into him briefly, bounced off Wesley, converted the play, but misses the free throw. Utah State on a run here. St. Mary's in the midst of an offensive drought. Matthew Dellavedova rejected, but they call a foul. It'll be Dellavedova going to the free throw line for the Gales. For those of you just joining us, Brocky Payne, the point guard for Utah State. A couple early turnovers, some sloppy play in the first minute or so, and then the game settled in.
Yeah, and things have certainly settled down, but Matthew Dellavedova, he needs to get going offensively for Randy Bennett's team. In the last 3 games, he is just 1 of 8 from behind the arc and shooting 26% from the field in the last 3. And they desperately need him to stand up and get back to his rhythm that he was playing with earlier this season at the offensive end of the floor.
Maybe a pair of free throws will get him going. He is an outstanding free throw shooter. Freshman Stephen Holt, standout defensive player in and guarding Payne for St. Mary's. Jardine just traveled. Turnover, Aggies. St. Mary's has the basketball. Here's Mickey McConnell, the senior, having a remarkable final year here in Moraga. Likely the WCC Player of the Year.
He has gotten to a slow start offensively, though, in this contest.
What a tough move by Rob Jones.
Rob Jones has got to the paint in back-to-back possessions. He missed the last one. This time he came in from the left wing, drove to the middle of the paint, able to convert.
You said it, he's coming off a nightmare performance. He looks much, much better at the start here tonight. St. Mary's picking up the defensive pressure here. Nate Bendel, not much of an outside shooter, but he knocks that one down.
Got both feet underneath him. Great job with the pick and pop. The most dangerous man on the floor in pick and roll situations is the screener.
Jones pulls the trigger on the 3. Young fighting for the rebound off of Bendel. It'll be Utah State basketball. Well, plenty of intensity here in Moraga. Great bracket busters matchup for you. Utah State on the road with an early 15-11 lead. On the campus of St. Mary's, 2 top 25 teams, Utah State and the Gales of St. Mary's. And welcome everybody. Dave Fleming along with Sean Farnham. We're happy to have you with us for what promises to be a great game. 2 teams having outstanding years, both in the top 25, and yet, Sean, both feeling like this is a critical game.
Well, and it's a critical game because when you look at the tournament resume, the strength of schedules is something that the NCAA tournament committee may use against them. Getting quality wins against its RPI top 50 team, that really does boost up your strength of schedule as well as your resume come March when they're sequestered in that Indianapolis hotel.
So the lack of quality wins, despite the huge number of overall wins between these 2 programs, and both teams are having great years. The Gales within the West Coast Conference, the Aggies within the WAC. But a game with a lot of significance as we look ahead towards March.
Well, and I asked Joe Lenardi today, and he got right back to me. I said, if either one of these teams was not to win their conference tournament, would they be in the NCAA tournament? And he can say they put themselves in a decent shape right now. Decent's not good enough for either one of these 2 coaches.
Yeah, they want to be sure of it because both coaches think they can do some damage in the NCAA tournament. Here's Bendel. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Newbold elevates and scores.
A great jump shooting team, Utah State. If you haven't seen them through the course of the season, over 50% of their looks are coming off of jump shots.
The senior leading scorer, Ty Wesley, on the bench at the moment. Meanwhile, Dellavedova, the sophomore, part of that point guard tandem, with under 10 to shoot now.
And the zone has caused some issues for St. Mary's.
Holt knocks down the 3.
Great way to break down the zone. Get the ball at the free throw line. Look opposite. No one is around. Holt all day long.
How about the give and go? And Payne with the foul.
Great possessions and great execution on both ends of the floor.
And the big part of that play is that's number 3 on Rob Jones, who's off to such a quick start, but playing with 2 fouls, and presumably he'll have to go to the bench for the rest of the first half.
And that is a big loss for a team that does not have a lot of depth down low. Mitchell Young will be the guy that they have to look to now to get scoring on the block and also maybe from the wing area, especially if they stay in this zone.
Payne, who's got 5 early points, but has missed a chance for more at the free throw line. He's just 1 of 3, now 2 of 4, completes the three-point play.
There's a big comeback from the three-pointer for St. Mary's to come back down to the opposite end of the floor. And one thing I like about Utah State so far in this game, they are aggressively attacking the rim. They are not settling for perimeter jump shots.
Dellavedova shoots a 3. Too strong. There's Young, the guy Sean's talking about, with the offensive board to Walker. Rejected, but they count the basket.
A good job with a quick, big-on-big post pass. Young gets the offensive rebound, sees his fellow big, a nice dump down over the top. Good help side rotation from Utah State. Just touched the ball after it hit the glass.
Walker gets credit for the bucket. It's a 4-point game. Ty Wesley back in the game. Finds Bendel one-on-one. Nate Bendel, no good.
And Nate Bendel needs to do a better job going straight up and down. He doesn't have a great deal of lift when he turns, so it's tough for him to sometimes get the ball over the top of the rim.
McConnell was trying to get that edge against Newbold, who can't believe the foul was called. It's against Newbold. Coming up on Monday, matchup in the Big East. 2 teams that fought for wins today. Syracuse and Villanova 7 Eastern, Oklahoma State and Kansas at 9 Eastern. Judgment Week starts on Monday, presented by Battle Los Angeles. And Tyler Newbold, just like Rob Jones, he's got 3 fouls and goes to the bench. Inbound play, Dellavedova to Young. Young scores it.
A beautiful read by Dellavedova. The defense steps up. Mitchell Young flashes into the open area, right in the middle of the key.
Payne, bad pass. Stolen by Young. Here come the Gales looking for the lead or more.
It has been a slow first half for Mickey McConnell offensively. He's done a good job facilitating, but hasn't been able to find himself a shot.
Here's Holt. McConnell will set things up with 9 to shoot. He's got almost unlimited range. McConnell's going to show some of that off. Good! Another foul. So the answer for the Aggies.
You go back to the opposite end, though. You mentioned it, unlimited range. Mickey McConnell looks like he's off balance, but squares up his shoulders so well and just drops it in. Watch the arc and the lift that he gets on this shot. It's pure.
Payne getting to the free throw line over and over again and getting St. Mary's into big-time foul trouble. That was foul number 2 against Mitchell Young. So Jones is already on the bench with 3. Now Young, key man for St. Mary's, has 2 fouls. Payne made them both.
Dave, you and I talked all week long about this game and this matchup and how we expected both teams to come out and execute. And what we've seen so far is exactly what you and I would have expected. Well-coached, disciplined basketball. Guys making plays.
How about McConnell? Even farther back. He is amazing. And he's got McKeon rocking. Boo Williams. We'll see if McConnell shoots it again. He got fouled by Nate Bendel.
All right, let's talk about range. Everybody mentions Jimmer Fredette. Catching a freezer right here. Look at the space that he has between the three-point line and where Mickey is at. No problem for him. Dial it up and splash it in.
Now McConnell, he's feeling it. Good! One of the great players in college basketball you may not know much about. Maybe after tonight you'll learn a little more. Bendel against Walker. Good defense by Walker, and then he got fouled.
We mentioned how Mickey McConnell was struggling to find offensive looks. He's not anymore, and this place, they're jacked up.
Mickey McConnell, he's got him rocking in Moraga. All right, here in Moraga, St. Mary's with a 26-22 lead in the first half, largely due to the spectacular play of their senior, Mickey McConnell.
Best player in the WCC all season long, and just a great job. Unlimited range, you know, so much attention nationally given to Jimmer Fredette, and rightfully so. But when you look at the numbers for Mickey in his last 7 games, averaging 24 points per game, shooting better than 54% from the field, better than 50% from behind the arc. And he's taken over this game in the last minute plus.
Yeah, he didn't score in the first 11 minutes. Since then, he's on a personal run that has given the Gales their first lead of the night. Intense atmosphere here in Moraga. McConnell's at it again, attacking that defense. Found Holt, who passed up the open shot. And the freshman Stephen Holt. Here's Dellavedova, who's a great passer and creator in his own right. St. Mary's has 2 of the best point guards in college basketball playing simultaneously. Holt shot at that time. Young going for the offensive board. Had it ripped away, and then Wesley threw it away.
Utah State, which has played with such great composure in the last minute and a half, ever since Mickey started raining in those threes, it seemed like they've been rattled.
They really don't expect that from Ty Wesley, the senior leader, but he made the mistake that time. Characteristic 6 turnovers so far for the Yankees. McConnell matched up man-to-man defense this time with Brian Green. McConnell really had nowhere to go with the ball. Out of bounds off of St. Mary's.
A poor decision that time, though, by Mickey McConnell. It's a very difficult place for him to pick up the ball.
McConnell, part of a line of great guard play at St. Mary's. There's one of their best all-time, Patty Mills, who finished just a couple seasons ago, now playing in the NBA All-Star Weekend. He's here to watch his Gales. Mickey McConnell has been every bit as good as Patty Mills was his final year on campus.
And Stu Morrill was quick to point out when Patty went down with his injuries, it was a bracket buster game against Utah State where Mickey went off. Kind of jump-started his career here in Moraga.
It was in this matchup where McConnell announced his presence on the scene. Gales on a run. Walker got the roll.
Great feel off that screen. The one-handed left dump down pass from Mickey McConnell.
Better than 4 minutes since Utah State made a basket from the field.
Right, they need to get back to being aggressive and attacking the rim, drawing fouls. Down low, getting to the free throw line.
Walker in for Payne at the moment. Walker, offensive foul. And a gutsy play there, Sean, by Mitchell Young, because he's already got 2 personals.
Well, Rob Jones going out. I mentioned Mitchell Young was going to have to be the guy that steps up. And the problem with Walker in that scenario is he leaped in and initiated the contact. The officials right on top of that. The call goes against the Aggies. And that's a freshman mistake.
He goes back to the bench. Payne back in.
Just jump stop 2 feet. Teardrop it in right over the top.
McConnell tried to dribble past Wesley. Wesley with some quick hands. Knocked it out of bounds. Still Gales basketball.
Ty Wesley, one of the toughest players you'll see. Broke his nose 2 weeks ago. Was supposed to play with a mask for the rest of the season, but decided to throw it out at Fresno State.
So the Aggies trying to regroup. Quick timeout for the Gales. They lead by 6. We have seen an intense first half here. 2 top 25 teams, part of our Sears Bracket Busters, and maybe the premier matchup of the weekend. St. Mary's at home with a 28-22 lead against the Aggies from Utah State. out of the WAC. They've already clinched a share of the WAC regular season conference title. But Mickey McConnell and St. Mary's looking for a big win at home with the lead and the basketball out of this timeout. State trying to harass McConnell, get the ball out of his hands. Jardine, that was some good help defense.
Well, and that's one of the things that Stu Morrill told me, is that we're going to have to mix up how we defend screens, especially with Mickey McConnell. I don't like having my bigs have to hedge hard, but that time that's exactly what Jardine did. Very well executed.
He did it there with Dellavedova. Dellavedova split right through that defense, created for Young.
Well, Mitchell Young starting to become much more aggressive at the offensive end of the floor as of late, coming off of his best game in his career. 24 points against San Diego.
Wesley's been quiet. He throws up a tough shot. McConnell, Walker from near the free throw line. Here comes Utah State. Payne looking to attack.
Good job probing the defense that time. Not having anything in transition. Set it up, establish your offense.
And back to Payne. Scramble for the ball. St. Mary's has it. McConnell finds Dellavedova to Young, who scores. Timeout, Utah State.
Defensive hustle leads to offense. Poor execution, jumping in the air to make a pass for Utah State. Mickey McConnell finds Dellavedova, and nobody marks up Mitchell Young. He's going to come right down the middle of the screen, and nobody stops him in the paint or picks him up. Excellent job by Young running the floor, and just great feel and great pass from the two guards.
10-point lead for the Gales coming up on Tuesday. Super Tuesday presented by KFC. Ohio State, one of the top teams in the country, 7 Eastern at home against Illinois, 9 Eastern. The Tennessee matchup, the Volunteers against the Commodores. Judgment Week begins on Monday. Those matchups coming up on Tuesday.
Buckeyes could be #1 in the country come Monday. Kansas losing at Kansas State earlier this week. Texas falls at Nebraska today. How about that? Big win for Doc Sadler. Great defensive effort, taking Tristan Thompson and that interior presence out of the Texas Longhorns attack.
Meanwhile here, a big run for the Gales of St. Mary's. Utah State has gone cold on offense. They have not scored a ball from the field in better than 6 minutes, and St. Mary's is on an 18-2 run. Utah State had a lead in the early going.
And they got that lead, though, by playing through the post. They have to get Ty Wesley the ball on the block, not at the free throw line.
Here's Pooh Williams, cut off by the help defense. Back to Green. Brady Jardine, very capable, athletic player down low. Went right over top of the defense, but couldn't finish.
Well, great job defensively. If you look at where he's catching the ball, it's 4 or 5 feet outside of the block. You've got to maintain your position down low on the block if you're Jardine.
That field goal drought goes on. What a pass from McConnell. Walker could not get the layup to go. Got his own miss. Rejected. There's Young. Young is having a huge first half. And the Aggies need some offense. Payne, offensive foul. The offense has disappeared for Utah State. Meanwhile, Mitchell Young and the Gales scoring at will. Back here in Moraga, big run for the St. Mary's Gales. They lead by 12 here. Part of our Sears Bracket Busters. Mitchell Young doing some great work for St. Mary's.
Well, you knew when Rob Jones went out with his third foul. I said Mitchell Young was going to have to step up and elevate his game, and he has done that as of late. Coming off of a career best 24 against San Diego. He's averaged better than 15 points a game over the last 4. He's got 8 here in the first half, and he's been so active. And the one thing I love about Mitchell Young is his energy that he brings and the spark and fire he brings off the bench for Randy Bennett.
Nearly a double-double in this first half alone, with still better than 3 minutes to go until halftime. St. Mary's a chance to expand this lead. Mickey McConnell. There's Young, great touch pass. Wesley with the rejection, and it gets lodged between the rim and the backboard. Jump ball, alternate possession. St. Mary's keeps it. A great recovery on defense by Ty Wesley.
It was an outstanding defensive rotation, but watch the feel and the touch pass. Mitchell Young gets it, finds his fellow big, and that's helping your teammate get better. I like that look a lot.
Mary's has it here. McConnell to Young. Missed the easy look. One of the few chances he has not taken advantage of in this first half. The run is 20-2. It's now more than 8 minutes since Utah State made a basket. So unusual for a very good offensive team. Wesley just bulling his way down low, draws a foul.
But see, that's great execution offensively. You're struggling to find points. Green is instant offense off the bench. We've already seen him hit a 3, but Ty Wesley posting up down low on the block, deep in the paint, tough on the catch to stop.
Ken Walker's first foul. He's done a nice job off the bench. No good. Nothing working right for the Aggies right now. Wesley averages better than 14 a game. Looking for point number 3. He got the roll.
It's too moral. He just wants his team to finish out strong, get him back in the locker room and regroup offensively. St. Mary's defensively has got them completely out of a rhythm. Utah State has gotten away from attacking the paint. That's where they had success, and that's how they built a lead early in this game.
Young sets a screen. 12 to shoot for Mickey McConnell.
They're going to overload the zone.
How about from way back, just a little bit short. Man.
The roof would have blown right off the top of this place had that one dropped.
And it nearly did. Now Green off the dribble. Uses the glass. It's the first basket from the field in about 9 minutes for Utah State.
Look, now all of a sudden the lead's down to 10, under 10. Whittle this thing away. As well as St. Mary's has played, Utah State has been effective in this zone at times, forcing them late shot block heaves from over the top.
They're certainly not out of this game, that's for sure. Dellavedova, a little floater.
Brian Green looked a little bit like J.J. Redick did defensively, slipping and falling as Dellavedova went by him.
Williams feeds Wesley down low. Young's got the fouls. Avoided number 3. Wesley ripped the miss away, and they're calling the foul against St. Mary's. Kent Walker will be whistled for his second personal.
The fans don't like that call at all, but it's the right call. He comes right over the top. As you see the ball get dropped down, Ty Wesley once again being very aggressive, trying to get to the rim. And when your arm is draped over the top of the shoulder of the player, it's an easy call for the official.
Wesley will get 1-and-1 free throws here. Made the front end. This is a game for 2 top 25 teams that have had outstanding seasons, but both of them have suffered difficult losses lately. And maybe because of those losses, feeling some pressure to win this game tonight. Wesley made them both.
Opportunities to get top 50 RPI wins this late in the season always is a resume builder for the tournament selection committee. Both these teams ranked in the top 50 RPI nationally.
Utah State doesn't really have a signature win despite a 24-3 record. Dellavedova had it poked away by Payne. The ball's loose. Williams saved it in. Payne saves it for Utah State off of Dellavedova.
Hustle plays. We haven't seen a lot of those out of Utah State for a long stretch here in the first half.
And now you wonder, Sean, if the Aggies, despite that slight difference between game clock and shot clock, perhaps Utah State will try to work the clock down here.
I would anticipate they will. It's going to be awfully difficult for them to find a quality look in less than 2.8 seconds.
Just a quick break to make sure the floor is cleaned up. St. Mary's fans, time for some defense.
I think you play through Ty Wesley once again. You get him involved in the offense down low on the block.
Over the last couple minutes, they've finally gotten him more involved. Working the clock down. And just a horrible pass by Payne. And now it's St. Mary's who can take the final shot. McConnell throws it away, though. 3-on-1. Jardine fumbled, missed it. Payne misses it. Nobody knew that there was still a second to go. The horn finally sounds, and a bizarre way for the first half to end, and maybe emblematic of Utah State's struggles. St. Mary's with their senior Mickey McConnell leading the way. Patty Mills, the former Gale, cheering on his teammates. And the Gales have a 36-27 lead at the end of the first half. Now we'll go back to the studio. Graham Weinstein and Jay Williams.